Welcome to Scream Queens Horror Movie Road Trip Podcast. That is the scream that never ends. It goes on and on, my friends. Are you in pain, or was that just for fun?
Well, I am not in pain, everybody.
Okay,
I feel fine.
I figured I needed to ask that before I introduced you. That's our final girl, Miss Justine.
Miss Justine right here, and that's your soul survivor, Mr. Josh.
Mr. J, if you're nasty.
Miss. I wanted to repeat that and then just laugh. Sorry.
Well, here we are on
Welcome.
episode 43, guys.
Driving around this beautiful area.
Heading to West Virginia.
Yes, we were in Virginia right now. West Virginia's their next door neighbor, their stepbrother, the one that never gets brought up.
Mm-hmm.
We have Virginia family who commonly refers to West Virginia.
Not so kindly.
Not so, yeah.
But it's just a fun rivalry. It's all fun and games.
It's all fun and games. It's
There's
like
no
Oklahoma and Texas.
There's no real prejudice there. Just fun.
Or
and
there
games.
is, and that's...
But we are heading to Weston, West Virginia.
Yes.
To visit the infamous Trans-Allegany Lunatic Asylum. It
was formerly known as Weston State Hospital.
Yes.
But
And you guys might recall this place. It's been featured in countless television programs, ghost shows, shows about the paranormal. Just recently, it was on that Portals to Hell show with Jack Osborne. It's apparently, people say, one of the most haunted and active places in America. And we're going.
we are going there, and
Nothing scares us.
And we're really excited, and we're taking some friends along with us, so they're going to meet us there, and we are super excited to just get scared out of our britches!
So excited. So we thought we would cover 1999's remake of the William Castle classic, House on the Haunted Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And you might be wondering, well, why didn't you just do the better movie of the two? The original. Well, the original is just a house. This one is a house that you also find out has a lot... The story has a lot to do with, like, mental patients.
Guys, we're trying to correlate things, all right?
We're putting it together bit by bit. This movie, House on the Haunted Hill, the remake, is about an insane asylum. So what better movie to do than House on the Haunted Hill remake, right?
Uh-huh.
Right?
Are you following?
You got it,
Did
guys.
you follow?
Yes. So this version is directed by Will Malone. I like to call him Billy Malone.
Oh, you and every fucking other person who works with him likes to call him Bill
friends.
Malone?
I'm just kidding. He's not my friend. Never met him. But Billy Malone.
Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
But let's dive into it. We'll tell you more about the Trans-Allegany once we've been there. You want to go ahead and just tell them, like, what year it was built, or did you already? And am I just going crazy?
I haven't. Nope, I haven't said anything like that. It was used from 1864 to 1994, and again, it wasn't called Trans-Allegany until it became a tourist attraction. So back when it was a mental hospital, it was just referred to as Weston State Hospital. But now that it has its own ghostly lore,
Did
it has
someone named Trans-Allegany buy it, and that's why?
I don't know.
They
When I
changed
read it,
the
I
name.
guess we'll find out exactly, but when I read just a little about it, all it said was that it didn't get the name Trans-Allegany until it reopened as a tourist attraction for people.
And it's going to be fun. They offer different kinds of tours. They offer, like, nighttime tours that are paranormal. They offer daytime paranormal tours, historical tours. We're going during the day because we have just shit to do. We can't be going at night right now. But
I mean, even from where we're staying in Virginia, it's still over a 3-hour drive to this areola of West Virginia. Yes, I said areola, not area.
Because that's just how she rolls.
That's how I roll. I don't need any comments later about how, like, girl, you don't know what area is? You said areola. Boy, I know.
Back the fuck off. Well, anyways, let's get into the movie.
Okay, let's get into the movie.
do
You
it.
already brought up that it was directed by Bill Malone, but let's talk about the cast. It is a star-studded cast of the late 90s.
The most important cast member in this movie is Lisa Loeb.
Oh, yeah, like if let's start from the top and then just, go from there on who everybody is. Lisa Loeb, she is a news reporter, and she's in the first, 10 minutes of the movie with Jeffrey Rush, who plays Stephen Price, a little nod to Vincent Price, the original...
we can't forget Taye Diggs.
Millionaire. We're going to get there. Then we have Famke Jensen and Taye Diggs. Ali Larder. She's
It's not a late 90s horror movie or early
90s.
2000s horror movie without Ali Larder.
Of course. Famous for her Final Destination.
You don't see that toothy grin. It's not a late 90s, early 2000s horror movie.
Not at all. And then, of course, we have Peter Gallagher, who, While You Were Sleeping, and...
Shortcuts.
Player. Yes. Those are some good Altmans. And Bridget Wilson Sampras. She married that Pete Sampras tennis guy, but she was also in the late 90s and early 2000s in horror. She also was in I Know What You Did Last Summer. She played Sarah Michelle Gellar's sister. Sister, picture. Chris Kattan, because I'm sorry.
That just makes sense.
This little addition to this film, actually, he's a big addition. His performance is amazing. It should have gotten him a few nods.
I can't believe he didn't win the Oscar that year.
It was something else. We're going to get into that, too.
All right. Well, let's just get into the movie.
Yeah, we're done. I'm done listing off all the actors, so...
Good.
You say...
I only watch horror movies that I want to.
So, okay, we open with this kind of informational piece about what exactly we're about to watch. We get to see why the House on Haunted Hill is the House on Haunted Hill.
Because there were some shady mental doctors.
Yes.
That's what you call them, mental doctors.
Mental doctors. The opening scene introduces us to Vannicut Psychiatric Institute for the Criminally Insane.
Ran by Jeffrey Combs.
Ran by Dr. Richard Vannicut, who's played by Jeffrey Combs. So, hey there, Reanimator Man. I sees you, and I loves you. I want to be with you. Let's get married on a mountain. When I met you a month and a half ago, I saw you. We locked eyes, and you...
The world has never been the same.
Forgot all about me. Okay, so yeah, we have Jeffrey Combs, who's playing this doctor who loves to perform torture-esque procedures on his criminally insane
You see him
patients.
Just cutting people the fuck up.
And so yeah, we see him slicing and dicing, but there's also other things going on.
Yeah, the patients aren't going to take it much longer. There is going to be a rebellion. There's going to be patients storming in saying, I have had enough.
Yeah, they're a little bit more aggressive than that.
Yeah, I think they're just going to start killing people.
Yeah, it's not
instead.
like Network where isn't that where he's like, I'm not going to take it anymore.
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
It's not that.
They're not shouting out their windows.
No.
They are breaking windows and ripping throats out.
And taking pencils that had just been sharpened and jabbing them into necks, lighting people
ripping
on fire.
that throat out.
The patients revolt and they kind of burn down the complex. And what happens is this house, this insane asylum that Dr. Vannicut has built has kind of an escape, like the doors lock and they seal for 12 hours.
And no one can get out.
And nobody can get out. And so...
Or in.
The patients kind of trip the lock and everybody's locked in and they just go to town. They're murdering almost all the staff. There's only a handful of staff. It's reported that
make it out alive.
Make it out. Everybody else is burnt to a crisp, including the doctor.
Yes.
And so we get that little information and then it kind
We're
of like...
Oh, this is like an epilogue. Thanks for the epilogue.
Thanks for the epilogue. But what we're really watching...
No, that wouldn't be an epilogue.
It's a prologue, yeah.
Thank you for the prologue.
Thanks for the prologue.
I'm just fucking shit up. I don't know my epilogues from my prologues. Damn.
Well, don't be so hard on yourself.
Damn it.
Okay, so the camera kind of... we see that Famke Jensen plays Evelyn Price.
She likes a bath.
She's sitting in the bath and she is watching TV and they are talking about the Vannicut Insane Asylum that is now referred to as the House on Haunted Hill, and it's kind of like an unsolved mystery show she's watching.
And it sparks an idea for her. she picks up that phone in the bathtub, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she calls somebody.
Who does she call?
She calls Jeffrey Rush.
Well, his name is Stephen Price.
Yes, as a nod to Vincent Price, who
Yep.
played the same character in the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep. We mentioned that just a few seconds ago.
Yes.
And then Stephen Price is an amusement park mogul, and he
A lot of those around.
Mhm.
You know, all those amusement park moguls that are, you know, everybody knows by name.
And everybody wants to go and experience their amazing rides, and that's how we meet Lisa Loeb, who is a news reporter walking around hearing Stephen talk about his latest ride that's scary and immersive, and
she's gonna follow him around for the day.
yes, while at the amusement park. She gets to be on the ride with him. He kind of shows her what the latest ride's all about, and it's very deceptive. You know, you take an elevator up, you think, to many stories up, and then it falls and plummets, and everybody's scared, and she starts singing Stay. In that moment, she is just so scared as this elevator is plummeting to their death. Plot twist, it's not. It's just a computer screen at the bottom.
Right, this whole scene is setting up who he is,
Mhm.
what, you know, that he's this huge jokester, that he's known worldwide for his pranks, for his mischievous nature, that, you know, like we said, he is this mogul that everybody apparently knows around the world. Lisa Loeb is following him up, and they're gonna just have a fun day getting skirt, and she gets scared.
She gets scared.
She thinks she's gonna die, guys.
And while Lisa Loeb is on her ride on the roller coaster, that's when he gets
tricks her.
Yeah, he tricks her. That's when he gets the call from his wife, who's like, hey, I know what I want for my birthday. I want me and all my closest 200 best friends to stay at the house on Haunted Hill. So I've got the list of invitations that I've faxed over to you because it's 1999. And he's like, okay, whatever you want. Fucking hate you, princess. And then we cut to him in his office, and he is shredding that list.
And he is writing his own list now. And it's not the name she gave. And then you know what happens? His list gets deleted. Mysteriously. After he leaves, all those names are erased by themselves. And then some ghost is typing in new names.
Yeah, that's what we see on the screen. Is just
a ghost typing.
The names, there's 5 names that appear. We don't know them yet, or we don't know these people, but we're about to, and we get the introduction along with Marilyn Manson's Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics.
Yeah, which is already dated in 1999.
Yeah,
it's
like,
like,
already been out
that
a
song
couple
is
years.
so 1997.
Like, hello.
Like,
God.
come on.
Bill Malone, like, what's going on? But yeah, I mean, I get it. It was a well-known song at that time, and so...
He's going for, like, this metal goth vibe with the music. There's actually times within the movie that it really gives me, like, Giallo feels.
Giallo.
Like, it really reminds me of, like, a lot of, like, the music that Argento might use, like, with the Goblin and stuff. Like, he really likes to score a scene with
some awesome,
industrial
like,
goth, you know?
It's awesome in the sense that it does remind me of that music video-esque, where the music is just as important to the scene as all the shit that's happening on the scene itself.
I will say it's executed much better in an Argento film.
Yeah, we're just saying that it's like it. We're not saying it's as good, just a slight reminiscence.
Just a comparison, guys.
So while Marilyn Manson is serenading us, we get this...
Is he sucking his own dick right now, too? Because you know everybody that he had his ribs removed, so he could suck his own dick.
Well, no, he's singing.
Didn't you guys learn that when you were in junior high, too?
Yes, I did learn it, but...
And didn't you guys also hear that he is the boy off of The Facts of Life? No, that used to be... Yeah, there used to be all kinds of Marilyn Manson rumors when I was in junior high.
I mean, that was junior high for me, was Marilyn Manson.
And not The Facts of Life. What was the one with Fred Savage?
The Wonder Years.
The Wonder Years. Yeah, he was the best friend on The Wonder Years, guys. And he sucks his own dick now. Just kidding.
He doesn't.
It may be cool if he did, but...
I guess so. Short end of it is that he's not sucking his dick because he's singing. So unless it's all muffled and he's got a mouthful of his own cock, it's not happening.
So now we see all these people arriving in limos or hearses.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
They're kind of cascading down this hilly.
They must have all been picked up at the same location, because how did they caravan in together if they were being picked up all around Los Angeles? Los Angeles is big. I find it suspect that they all happen to show up at the gate at the same fucking time.
That is totally a good question to ask.
And then Chris Kattan is pissed that they're all there at the same time. He's like, stop the car, get out, we're walking. No. Doing his worst, like, Woody Allen impression. I don't know, like, what the director told him to do here, but Chris Kattan, just settle the fuck down.
He does seem like he is missing his Ritalin the whole time, and that he definitely needs to maybe puff pass. Like, somebody give this guy a joint for
Someone
real.
calm him
like,
down.
He needs a break. Yes, we get the limos approaching the gate to the premises of the house on Haunted Hill, and Chris Kattan introduces himself. Funny how he doesn't get a limo ride, but alas,
he's like the owner of the home.
He is the owner of the home. He does introduce himself as Watson Pritchett.
So he was there unlocking the doors. He has the key.
Yep. And he introduces himself as the owner, that it's passed down, that his grandfather built the facility, and that his dad, took it on. And then he's kind of just like a little wishy-washy about how everybody died in his family. But he talks about how he grew up in the house and he's not a huge fan of it. But everybody else that's walking in is really excited because their invitation said that if they could last for the night in the house on Haunted Hill, that they would be paid $1 million.
And everything Chris Kattan says is with a So imagine every bit of dialogue he says with, like, lots of stuttering. Annoying.
It's, not my favorite
Bye,
at
Chris
all.
Kattan.
I will be
Girl, bye.
I will be so happy when he dies towards the end of this movie. Okay, so I'll just kind of roll off the cast. So we have model Jennifer Jensen. She lists off her credentials like she got a resume in front of her. She's like, I used to be the assistant in blah 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 production studio.
Don't you know me?
We've got Taye Diggs, who is
Just being fine as fuck.
Introduces himself. He just says he's a former pro athlete, and yeah, he is.
I believe it.
I've seen those muscles.
He pro athletes all over me all the time.
He can be my quarterback or my running back, or he
can quarter my back, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm, he could give
all right,
me
enough
a
of
free
the lame
throw,
sexual innuendos.
Yeah, because I don't know sports that well, so I'm just naming off whatever. He could
can
score
give me
a
a touchdown.
That's right. Like,
he can get in my end zone.
oh shit! Yes! Now we're getting good. We needed a little, I needed to start thinking of sports-related, jargon, and then I was gonna get it.
I honestly can't think of any more sports-related jargon.
He could get my hole in one.
Oh, that's like golf.
It is.
She made a golf sex joke.
I made a little...
Well, here, let's do a miniature golf sex joke.
Shit.
He can putt me anytime.
Oh, damn! Putt.
Putt in the butt.
Oh, shit. Y'all heard it here first. Putt in the butt. Okay, and then we meet celebrity Melissa Marr, played by Bridget Sampras or whatever, and she's kind of a... she really wants to be like a Ricky Lake or something. She wants to get her own show.
And the casting is not the greatest here. Not that either actress is terrible, but they're too similar.
They look alike.
Ali Larder and this Bridget bitch. Sorry, she's a wonderful lady. She's not a bitch.
Yeah, don't call her that.
I know. Fuck.
Gosh.
I'm such a misogynist. Anyways, this Brigitte, wonderful lady. I can't think of her last name.
Wilson Sampras.
Their attitudes and their whole vibe are too similar.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, I know some Ali Larders, though. I was as confused, but I could see like a layman coming in and really getting confused.
And being like,
the two.
which blonde is dying right now?
Yeah.
And then also that they're both like in Hollywood too, because they're both talking about like working with producers.
Yeah.
And the Bridget Wilson's even like, maybe I'll just have to fuck my way back into Hollywood. And you're just kind of like...
Yeah, she's had some
okay.
failing show. She apparently was a host of some show that was popular, and everyone's like, what happened to your show? And she's like, honey, let me tell you all about it, girl.
Over a tall glass of wine.
And you're dick.
And did we say that Taye Diggs' character's name is Eddie?
Yeah.
I just want to, like, make sure we get all those names
You'll
out.
hear Ali Larder going,
Eddie! Eddie! Oh, Eddie! Oh! Oh, no, maybe not quite like that. Maybe, or maybe that's quite like that. They get into that labyrinth. Eddie! Oh! And then we meet Peter Gallagher's character, Dr. Donald Blackburn, if you're nasty.
Oh, 2 if you're nasty jokes today.
2 if you're nasty. So this is in Chris Kattan, this is the guest list that was created by the Ghost, and then we see Evelyn arrive. She walks in her Louboutin.
She's gonna make an entrance in her little 1999 dress.
She's got her, I know, ladies, if you were in junior high in 1999 like myself, you'll get this. She totally has on the eyeshadow that was creamy that you applied, and then it made sparkles all over your eyebrow, but you would put it like right underneath your eyebrows, not cover the whole eye because you're not crazy. So you just do a little dollop, and for some reason we thought that was realistic.
Do a dollop of Daisy.
That everybody was like, yeah, you just have glitter on the tops of your eyebrow bones. That's just a real thing.
Natural and beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's natural. She put a little dop on her puss
shine,
too.
shine.
She is just trying to shine everywhere. So Evelyn walks in and she's like, "Who the fuck are you guys? And where's the hard drink and a hard dick?
Where's my friends? You're not my friends. I don't know you losers.
I don't know you." And then, like, in a very Argento Suspiria way, the glass ceiling
fucking breaks.
Bus cracks.
Oh my god, guys! It's like not even provoked. I think it's ghosts.
I think it's safe to say that most of the shit that's gonna happen in this movie is gonna be about ghosts.
Ghosts. G-hosts.
They're G-hosts. Okay, so the glass ceiling breaks and there's shards everywhere.
You know, we've got to thank Famke Jensen for breaking that glass ceiling. Right, girls?
Yeah.
Right, ladies?
Queen.
Break that glass ceiling!
Snaps going out.
And it's even better if it's stained glass.
It's stained glass up in her ass. Taye Diggs saves her. Eddie tackles her.
You
and
know,
I'm
it was
like,
after Famke Jensen broke the glass ceiling that women got the right to vote. Did you guys know that?
I didn't know that. I didn't know this movie was made in 1920.
I know, it's so crazy.
So Eddie
Thanks, Famke Jensen, for the suffragette
She's
movement.
a suffragette herself. So Eddie saves Evelyn from dying from the glass ceiling shards, and she gets just this very slight cut on her cheek that is like the special effects, the makeup it's just bad. Like she gets this cut on her face that is not a cut at all.
It looks like someone just painted a little red ketchup on her cheek.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's what happened.
Yeah, I think they ran out, they're
ran
like,
out of
oh
blood.
shit, guys, we can hire a makeup artist for this movie. Hey, PA, go get the ketchup.
Does anyone have a crayon?
I think that's what happened behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm. You're probably right. So the makeup special effects aren't great, but
At all.
At all, guys. It for a lot of times it looks like somebody just splashed some blood on someone, and then that was just supposed to be they died.
Someone's like, give me a paintbrush and some ketchup, and I will make a wound.
And I can do this shit. So yeah, we get just this little scary little mixture
She's like,
that
oh
happens.
my god, I almost died by my glass ceiling that I broke.
I broke this glass ceiling with Hillary Clinton. I mean, no, I didn't. But anyway, so get off of me, Eddie. No, wait, get in me. I'm sorry, get in me.
She says, like, get off me, you pervert.
Get off me, you pervert.
You just saved my life.
Let's go down to the hall to this room, and you can shove that.
Okay. Your P
no.
and my D, or your D and my P.
It's the P and the V.
Nah, well, P is your P and my D.
Penis and vagina, the P and the V. Okay, so now we get Steven walks in, and he's like, hey, sorry I'm late to the party. I've got my little John Waters little pencil mustache here.
The director in the commentary says, and I kind of agree, that Jeffrey Rush doing like a Vincent Price kind of equals a John Waters impersonation.
It's not the best, and Jeffrey Rush, again in that commentary, really he really wanted there to be an emphasis on the Vincent Price, I want to kind of be like that, but you're not, honey.
You're great. You're Jeffrey Rush,
great.
but Vincent Price is Vincent Price.
Vincent is Vincent.
You do you, baby.
You ain't
baby
Vinny
boy.
P. I'm gonna tell you right now, you ain't no Vinny P.
Yeah, Vinny P. Yeah, you know me.
You down with Vinny P? Yeah, you know me. Okay, so he walks in, he's like, hey, I don't fucking know any of you guys. What's going on? And he has this kind of side conversation with his wife, and she's like, fuck you. They're always hateful towards each other.
Yeah, I don't think they ever built this relationship on a loving foundation.
I'm worried that they didn't do their 6 months of marriage counseling that's required before, they were married by their local priest. So they entered into holy matrimony hating each other.
That's right.
And every day has just been blissful hate since. And they both are saying to each other, these aren't my friends. Well, these aren't my friends. Well, who in the hell invited them? Well, I don't know. And that's it. That's all that's it. That's okay. They move on from it. He's like, well, I'm going to keep going with this. So, all right, I don't know you guys, but if you last the night in here, I'll give you $1 million. And
they're like, oh, okay, well, we can do that. But no, Chris Kattan's like, I want to leave. Give me my check now. But actually he says oh, well, I want to leave now. That's how he decides to deliver a line.
Every time. And so Stephen, and it's the same in the original movie. It does happen much later in the original House on Haunted Hill, that everybody is presented with these little miniature coffins.
These are just floating in some good
dry ice.
Dry motherfucking ice. It's the driest ice I've ever seen.
And they're all like, what's going on? What is this? And so everybody opens up these little floating
Does this
coffins.
happen after Chris Kattan tries to get out? Or before?
Well, you had kind of just mentioned that he got out, or wanted to get out.
Yeah, but I didn't. He wants to leave. He's signing his. All of a sudden, we start hearing those same things from the beginning. The shutters, the metallic shutters shutting, and Chris Kattan's like, oh my god, and he tries to run out. He dives for the door right as it shuts.
Oh, I had it written down opposite. Sorry about that. I get what you're saying now. Yeah, the facility's closing down.
Mm-hmm. They're shut in now, and Mr. Chris Kattan's stuck.
And Stephen Price well, I guess I'll show you guys these little floating coffins that I have here that have guns in them. And they're all like, why in the hell would we need guns? Mm-hmm. But there's not much.
You want me to kill somebody?
What to that either? No explanation of the guns.
I think to add a sense of paranoia, to feel like the stakes are even higher. Because right now he thinks he's just there to create some fun for these people.
And so we've got the facility is now closed down, and there's guns present. Everybody's worried. Chris Kattan goes to find some whiskey, and Stephen Price goes to check in to a control room, and he opens the door, and there's one of his employees. He's like, hey, I didn't tell you to close down the facility yet. And the guy's like, I didn't.
I didn't do it, man.
What?
Like, dun, dun, dun. And Famke Jensen's like, how do I know this gun is real, baby? I'm gonna shoot it. And so she shoots it, and yeah, it's real. It breaks some shit.
It breaks some glass, earlier.
Not some ass. She's just breaking glass.
Just breaking glass. Okay, so everybody's heightened a little bit, a little scared, and the Melissa character, who isn't Allie Larder, is like, I'm gonna go on an adventure with my camera, and I'm gonna find some freaky shit, because I'm gonna get all of this, and then I'm gonna get my own show.
And she's like, maybe I can turn this into some America's weirdest home video show or something. I'm like, girl, no one wants to see your weird show
on your shitty home video camera.
You gotta get you gotta get the real deal.
So she goes wandering off, and we start to kind of see the labyrinth that is the House on Haunted Hill.
Because when someone tells you this house is haunted, If you can stay in it and live for a night, you get $1 million. Here's a gun. Aren't you just going to go wander around alone? Right?
Yeah, I think so.
You wouldn't just like hunker down and be like, no, I'm going to just like go to sleep and live.
Why don't we all just hang out in the library and drink the whiskey that Chris Kattan is already halfway drank? He gets it down really fast.
Why don't we just have a big orgy, guys?
Well, so
and get $1 million for having an orgy.
I've always wanted to be paid $1 million for an orgy.
Like, does that make me a hooker, though?
Does it?
If I get paid for an orgy?
Well, I mean, no, you're just having the orgy while waiting to be
get
paid
Okay.
because you're staying in a house.
So I'm not considered a sex worker then?
No, it's
Okay.
a plus that you got to have the orgy.
Then shit, sign me up for this all-night orgy where I get $1 million at the end. Damn. Why doesn't this shit ever happen to me?
It just don't. It just don't. Okay, so we have most of the people hanging out in the library, chit-chatting.
With
and
the candlestick. Professor Peacock. Right?
It's not
that's
Clue.
Clue.
Nope. It's still House on Haunted Hill.
Still a House on Haunted Hill.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And we have Pritchett, the Chris Kattan character, having heavy drinks and telling us more about how he believes the house is alive and why he doesn't want to stay in here, and that his grandfather and his father both died in the house, and he's really just scaring everybody else who's bothered to stick around because the Melissa character has decided she's going to go make her videos.
And this is actually kind of a cool, creepy moment. She's down in an area that looks like old surgical unit, and she's just wandering in the damp and the dankness. And when she looks down into her video camera, she sees Dr. Jeffrey Combs and his assistant lady doing some moiter. That looks like surgery. They're doing surgery, but they're moitering people.
Mm-hmm.
And moitering just means murder, but it sounds fancier if you say moiter.
Oh, I think it sounds ignorant.
You do? Okay. Well, shit. I was trying it out. You know, sometimes you just gotta try new things out.
Yeah. Well, fancy, might be subjective.
Oh, hello, West Virginia. We love you. Taking
West
care of us
Virginia.
today. We just crossed into West Virginia, and you guys might have heard in other episodes, but we have like weird rituals because we're a little OCD, and we always have to say hello. We love you. Take good care of us, new state.
And goodbye, Virginia. We'll see you after a while.
Yeah.
You are so good. Virginia's for lovers.
Virginia's for lovers.
So, okay, so we get her, Melissa, in there looking through her video display. She's got her camera, but it's got this playback, so she's watching that. She sees the procedures happening, but she looks up and there's nobody there. She looks down and there's people there, and then they start coming for her.
Well, the really creepy beat for me is when she looks down and they're still doing surgery, and then it's like they take notice of her and they all slowly look up at her, and you're like, oh, girl, get out of there.
But she don't.
That really might be like the creepiest moment in the
Yeah.
movie.
It might be.
It might be.
They come after her, they attack her, her camera lands on the ground, she gets kind of, it looks maybe like she gets dragged up the wall, into the wall.
And then it just goes back to the other characters. We don't get to see exactly what happens to her. We'll see the carnage, we'll see lots of blood here in a minute.
In a minute.
And then everyone's gonna be like, we heard her scream and there's lots of blood on the floor. Do you think something happened to her?
I think she had her period again!
She has a heavy flow.
And a wide set vagina! So get 2 tamps for her. Oh my god, that's so gross. Why do you say that? Oh,
Well,
nasty.
because you know how that feels with your wide set vagina and heavy flow and your 2 tamps,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
It's just...
Thanks for letting everybody know about my situation down there.
You're helping people.
I'm right
by
as rain, okay?
letting people know.
I'm good. I'm good just as God made me, guys. So you can judge me all you want.
If you can just help one person with that story, Justine,
it was all worth it.
It's all worth it.
It's all worth it. So now we've got people, they've heard Melissa screaming and they're like, oh, we're gonna go look for her. Sort of.
We found blood. Oh, here's her camera. Let's watch the video.
And so, and the people that are doing that is Eddie and Sarah. The other the other characters are Stephen Price and Evelyn, who are far too busy hating on each other to really bother to look for anybody. They don't really care. A lot of them are just pointing fingers at each other, like, you're doing this, no, you're doing this, no, you're doing this.
No, it was you.
Oh, we know you, Stephen. You love to pull pranks on people and kill people.
Mr. Prankster.
This is exactly what you wanted to do. Kill everybody off so you could have all your money you've already made. I didn't quite get that.
Yeah, she's
the
like,
Evelyn
well,
character.
he never had to offer it to people.
Yeah.
So the scheme doesn't make sense. Like, I'm going to keep my own money that I already have by not giving it to people that I never intended to give it to. It
doesn't make sense when she says it, because it's like, and we'll get to the point where we know why she's saying all this stuff. Like, she wants everybody to feel like they're sitting ducks, that he is actually way worse than just some prankster.
Yeah, Mrs. Price might be setting a lot of these incidents into motion herself.
But
then she's like, no, it's Mr. Prankster over there, guys. Let's kill him.
Well, Steven goes to check on the staff member, the employee in the control room again, because now he's got like somebody that's missing, somebody that's screaming, the other guests that are looking around, they're scared. So he goes back to the control room to be like, hey, what is going on? And the guy that was in the control room's entire face is missing.
Yeah, it's like a big hole in his face, guys. You could look through it and see to the other end if you wanted. I don't want to. That might be a little grotesque. I don't like seeing brains and shit all fucked up. Maybe I like seeing a brain specimen in a jar or something, but I don't want to see gore and viscera in real life.
In real life, yeah.
I mean, this movie, it's like, yeah, but no.
Poor Steven has to see the guy that he had just seen like maybe 20 minutes ago, and he's not there anymore. I wondered if he was okay, but it's obvious, missing his entire face and brains. He's not okay. And so we're like, what? How did that happen? So Steven is looking at the monitors on the control panels, and he sees everybody looking around, but he also sees somebody that is not a part of his guest list. And it is Jeffrey Combs in his old, like, 1930s surgical garb.
All white, mask.
And he has this saw in his hand. And he is moving really, mechanically. And he's heading into the bedroom that Evelyn is staying in, because she doesn't even want to hang out with anybody. She's like, fuck you guys, I'm taking a hot bath, and when these doors open, I'm leaving.
And he's like, I've got to save my wife I hate.
Or maybe not. But we don't know. Everything's up in the air. We don't know who is at who wants to hurt who. But now we see the doctor, and Steven sees the doctor headed for Evelyn's room. He's like, no! So he runs there, and he gets into the room, and neither the doctor nor Evelyn is in the room. And then we hear this, like, electricity happen, and Steven looks down.
Gosh. And she is getting fried the fuck up.
She is in this electroshock therapy,
and they have it cranked high.
She's burnt.
She's bleeding out of her mouth. She's shaking and convulsing. It's not looking good for her.
It is not, and he's freaking out, and then Eddie and Sarah,
she's dead,
who have had in this, while everything's going on, while Steven's looking for his wife, Eddie and Sarah have been downstairs looking for Melissa, and they've had their own instance of creepy shit happen. And so we'll get to that right after that. Everything kind of happens all in one, so we'll tell you about that. But Evelyn dies, or we think she does.
Yeah, we think she does. And then it cuts back to Eddie and Miss Larder.
And they are being lured around.
They're like, let's look in this room, Mr. Man.
They're having some little flirty fun while they're looking for Melissa. And Eddie has a sense that this Allie Larder character, Jennifer Jensen, isn't who she says she is.
Yeah.
And so he kind of calls her out on it. He just flat out says, like, I don't really think you are who you say you are. And she's like, what?
She's like, no, you're crazy.
I'm fine. Everything's fine. And then they get lost, and then she gets taken into this kind of boiler room where there's this vat of oil/blood that she is searching for Eddie.
Yeah, she thinks Eddie has fallen in, and she is she's trying to pull him out, and something is trying to pull her in.
Something.
And she's like, this is blood, this is nasty.
Something's got to do with something, guys.
Something's always got to do with something. If you try to pull your friend out of a big vat of blood and you start getting pulled in, something's got to do with something.
It ain't them, I'll tell you that. And it wasn't, because then Eddie comes running up. He's like, what the hell? Because she's all like, hey, oh my God.
Yeah, whatever's grabbing her, let's go. And she falls back, and then Eddie's right there, and she's like, what the fuck just happened? You were in there. Why aren't you covered in blood?
You were in my V. Yo, Pete was in my V.
No, that is not what she said.
That's not what she said. God, I just wanted that to happen so bad.
That was in House on Horny Hill. Okay? That was the porn version.
That's the porn version of all of this. House on Horny Hill.
We keep confusing the two.
We watched the original House on Haunted Hill, we watched House on Haunted Hill, and then we watched House on Horny Hill, and we're just getting them all confused.
God, it's just all swimming up in my brain.
So the next scene is everybody runs in. They find that Evelyn has been electroshock therapied to death. They grab Stephen Price because they're all convinced that he must have done
and
this.
And they put him in this weird chamber that makes no sense to me. It's supposed to be like this room that whatever has fucked you up will unfuck you, basically.
Apparently, I looked this up. It is called a zoetrope device, and it is for schizophrenics.
Well, what's funny, like back in the day, a zoetrope, hence there's now like a film company called American Zoetrope, or that was Francis Ford Coppola's famous film company, is that like a zoetrope was usually for entertainment. Like that was like the early version of films.
A moving picture.
It was like a little Nickelodeon. You'd go in and everyone would be like, oh, darling, did you go down and pay a nickel to see the new zoetrope?
And it would be an image that kind of circulated around you, and while it moved, it created movement.
It's basically like a large flip book.
Yes.
Like you know, that kind of like rickety, like old animation. They could do it with photographs, but yeah, it was early filmmaking. I never knew it was something they used in psychiatry.
But alas, at least Dr. Vanica used it in his psychiatry. And so they throw him in this chamber, and they leave Dr. Blackburn to kind of watch over him. And it's Dr. Blackburn that turns the machine on, and he's all like, oh, what's this? Oh, I'm gonna try. But you get the sense that he knows exactly what all of these things are, and he really wants him to have a psychotic episode.
And he almost does. Like the image he sees is of a man, and that man comes to life and like tries to get him inside the chamber
and takes him on just this trippy.
Yeah, it's like music video trip fest right here.
Where, you know, Bill Malone just wanted to show some T and A. All up in
He's like, look at this naked bloody girl swimming around.
And then
isn't that cool?
Jeffrey Rush being just
there's like tits and blood, guys.
Tits and blood. Everything you've ever wanted on the screen. T and B.
Set to Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, I will say that there are a lot of instances in this film where it's like a music video, but bad. It's like a bad music video. I don't want the music in there, and then I don't like what's happening.
I mean, Marilyn Manson's cool enough, but it's like just really obvious choice. Like a really painfully obvious
It
music
seems
choice.
a little uninspiring.
Exactly.
So we are going to keep going. So we've got Stephen Price in the zoetrope getting his trip on.
And now the doctor is going to go in and try to fuck a corpse, right?
Yes. So Evelyn we think is dead.
At first.
And so he walks up to her, and Evelyn's having a Me Too movement happen, #MeToo, with Dr. Blackburn, who fingers her and makes out with her before he reanimates her with this serum.
We find out that they're in cahoots. That
yes.
He had faked her death. He had some vial of something that would bring her back to life that had like made her pulse so slow that it was unrecognizable or undetectable.
Mm-hmm. I was like, what? Romeo and Juliet? What?
Yeah. But so you're like, oh, okay. I thought this was getting really necrophilia-ish
for a moment.
But thank God it didn't go there. We didn't have to watch him do a corpse.
Well, I was like, okay, so is this really while you were sleeping, but in the reverse?
Yeah. He's like, while you were sleeping, I fucked you.
So
and I'm gonna go jail.
She does wake up, and you're like, oh shit, like she is alive. It was all just a big stunt, and she's all making out with him.
We find out that they are working together to get all of Price's money. They want to freak everybody out, so they kill him.
Mm-hmm. Somebody on the guest list should kill Stephen Stephen Price because they're so scared. I'm not 100% sold on this idea. It seems super, like, convenient / okay, the script had to be written just like that. Like, I mean, come on. So, like, everything had to happen in just a certain way for people to be scared to then shoot Stephen Price.
That's right.
It's just, I mean, it's a little convenient.
Like, we gave him the guns, now we just gotta scare him and someone will kill him,
somebody's
right?
gonna kill him. And
it just makes sense.
Loaded the guns, too. You know, like, it...
and then welded the clips shut. Remember that?
Yes.
The big thing. They're like, the clips are welded shut. How do we know if there's really bullets in here or not?
All just very circumstantial. Okay, then she decides, she's telling Dr. Blackburn, like, we need to scare them more. Something else needs to happen. It doesn't seem, we need to give them a little bit more motivation.
They're not convinced. They're not getting freaked out enough to murder.
And he's like, well, sweetheart, baby, darling, angel pie, how else could we motivate them? And she's like, I have an idea. And she grabs a scalpel and stabs him a few times in the stomach and kills him.
Just like, oh, but I thought you were like lovers and in cahoots. No, she's down and dirty. She's gonna fuck anybody over to get that money.
If you haven't gotten the idea, she's kind of a black widow.
She's like, I'm beautiful.
To do anything.
She's like, I'm beautiful and bad.
I'm bad and beautiful, and baby, I was born to be this way. So he's dead.
Yeah, she does get him a few times in the gut.
And then she cuts his head off. We don't see her cut his head off, but we see Allie Larder come up on the headless body of Dr. Blackburn, and then his head is arranged about 2 feet above him.
And we're thinking, how peculiar. I just thought she stabbed him in the gut.
But I guess she went ahead and did a little decapitation. And then we hear this gurgling weird sound, and it's obvious that she's let Stephen out. Evelyn's let Stephen out of the zoetrope, and so he's kind of like had his psychotic trip, and he's all like, oh, and Allie Larder sees him, and she gets scared, and he's all like, help me, save me. She's like, what? There's blood everywhere. There's Dr. Blackburn without his head.
I can't hear you over the sound of my teeth.
She is like teeth shattering. And she just pops the cap in his chest, like 6-7 times, all in his chest, guys.
Yeah. 'Cause when you're trying to kill somebody, you don't go for that headshot. You just keep shooting them in the chest.
And wild shooting, but it all happens in the chest. I keep pointing out that it's in the chest because that's going to be helpful in about 2 seconds when you find out that he's not dead and he was wearing a bulletproof vest. But he fakes being dead. Eddie and Pritchett, Chris Kattan, they come up on her, Allie Larder, who's like, I just killed him. And they're like, oh my God, let's go. And so they leave.
Like, we gotta get out of here now.
Evelyn comes out of a little hidey hole and walks up to Stephen Price. She feels very good about her she's like, all right, I have killed you. I want to give you this monologue about how I've never felt anything but hate for you, but I've always loved your money. And then Stephen Price
grabs her by the throat.
Comes alive.
I really like in this movie that they go for the throat a lot.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, fuck yeah, go for their throat. Get them.
Fucking kill her.
Rip that shit out.
And they have this kind of scuffle where he's like, are you fucking serious? Like, I was gonna walk around here without a bulletproof vest on? I'm Stephen goddamn Price, bitch!
He's like, I know tricks.
And
I know you're a tricky trick.
And you're a cunt!
Oh. Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Damn.
He didn't even say that.
He didn't say cunt at all.
I said it.
Yeah, now you make me say it.
He throws her into this, like, very dilapidated door that's all old and has like runic symbols written on it and is conveniently placed right where they're fighting. And she busts that door down, and all of a sudden there's this sound, this whooshing sounds that happen.
It's the eeriest whoosh I've ever heard.
There's terrible wind CGI happening. There's this darkness coming out of the floor. Yeah, it looks
very kaleidoscope-esque.
And then it overtakes her, and he gets very scared as this darkness just engulfs her. She becomes one with it.
She gets sucked into this shroud of darkness.
And she's all like, what's happening?
Steven!
Being confused.
Steven!
And so he gets scared and he starts running off, and now she's a part of the darkness. She's been consumed by the house, and she kind of has this weird monologue that she says about how now she's one with all of them, and we get this just exposition that's unnecessary, and I don't need it.
Yeah,
It would be a lot scarier if I didn't have a ghost telling me that
exactly
she's a
what
ghost.
happened. Yeah.
I get it. I hate when films make me feel dumb.
And then now we have Ali Larder and Eddie like figuring out the secret.
And
right?
Pritchett, yeah, oh yeah, and they're in
some attic room.
It's
right?
like an office. Dr. Vannicut's office is
She's
where
like,
they're
look,
at.
here's some pictures. How weird! All these people that survived have the same last names of all the people that are here.
Again, just real lazy storytelling. Oh, we just happen in the office. Oh, we happen to find this picture that just happens to have the 5 named survivors, and
The ghost must be trying to get revenge on all those who lived the night that the mental hospital was taken over by the crazies.
just really piecemealing it together. It's bad. It's bad storytelling, guys. It's not good. And then we hear all this activity going on, and they're all like, "Oh my God, what? We thought that Stephen Price was dead." And Pritchard's like, "Hey guys, we gotta get up to the attic." And then they're running up to the attic, and they hear
Shit's
Stephen Price behind this
exploding.
door. There's like banging going on, and they open up a door, or Pritchett opens up a door, and there's Stephen Price, and they're all like, "What? We thought we shot you!" And then the darkness actually grabs Pritchett.
And Pritchett's like, bye.
Bye, I'm dead now.
You know, he didn't even want to be there.
He didn't. He just wanted his money, and he wanted to go. And Stephen Price is now on the other side of the door with them, and Ali Larder's like, "I shot you 6 times! I shot you 6 times!"
Yep, and she's like, I shot you 6 times, and my teeth are still big.
That
I'm
is
just kidding.
not nice.
No, I love her.
Yeah, so we get floors exploding, and we get some jackets that were on that weren't off. Some continuity errors are happening during all this, and we get Stephen Price finally kind of sacrificing himself to the darkness.
He did one good deed at the end of his life.
We get Pritchett, who's now a ghost, but he opens up this lever.
Yeah, Ali Larder happens to get through this window. They're like high up in like an attic now at this point, right?
They're...
And the window happens to open. Ali Larder gets out, and then it closes on Tay Diggs, on Eddie. And Eddie can't get out. The dark force is getting closer and closer to him, and he's like, I'm adopted! I'm not even really related to these people! But then Pritchett's ghost, thank God for him, opens the door so Eddie can get out the last fucking minute, guys!
Oh, thank God! And now we have Ali Larder, who's revealed herself to actually be Sarah, the Jennifer Jensen. She wasn't Jennifer Jensen after all. She was Sarah, and she was an assistant to her, and she had gotten fired, and she really needed the money, and now we're all safe. And oh, look in my pocket, all the checks that were written out for cash are in my pocket.
Well, no,
it's
not in her pocket. It's like stuck under that window.
The window,
and she's
yeah.
like, what is this? And they open it, and it says, to those who survived the night, and it's like a bunch of checks for $1 million. So her and Eddie are just sitting up there. They're high up, like stuck on this ledge, and they're like, we're millionaires now, but how do we get down?
Oh, let's just fuck until someone finds us.
Maybe the smell of our badussi will send a signal to someone below.
So we just have to keep doing it until someone sees.
She's like, fuck it till you smell it, okay?
And then Marilyn Manson, in good fuck it till you smell it fashion, comes back in and sings us some more sweet dreams.
And the movie's over.
And the movie is over. And that, you guys, is The House on Haunted Hill.
The House on Haunted Hill by my friend Billy. I'm just kidding.
Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
So yeah, that's a lot to process, guys.
That's a lot.
Take it all in, and we're gonna go to this Trans-Allegany Lunatic Asylum. We're gonna have a good freaky day, and we're gonna come back and tell you all about it, do our final thoughts, our favorite scenes, our knife ratings, and
tell you what's coming next. All
wrap
those
up
things.
episode 43 for you guys.
All right, we'll see you in a tit. Bye.
Bye. might have seen some ghosts. Well, we didn't see them. I heard one. I heard a ghost, and I'm scared.
Okay, so we just got back from our fabulous trip to Trans-Allegany Lunatic Asylum.
We are currently heading east on Interstate 68, just past through like Cumberland, Maryland.
We're headed back to our base camp
in Virginia. So we just had a wonderful day with my sister and brother-in-law out at Trans-Allegany Lunatic Asylum.
It's in Weston, West Virginia, and it was a fucking blast. Josh and his sister and brother-in-law had a ghostly experience.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Well, we roll into Weston, and it's a cute, weird little mountain town. The state penitentiary, or the mental institution, lunatic asylum, whatever it is humongous. Where at first all of us are like, oh my god, and immediately you're kind of getting weird vibes, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Mary, your sister, she even mentioned, she was like, my hair feels like staticky. I got what she meant to. I mean, my hair didn't feel staticky, but I definitely felt like a weird film or something, just kind of in the areola.
Oh, in your areola?
No, in the areola.
The areola?
The area of the place.
Oh, the area.
Mm-hmm, the area,
There's
yeah.
a difference between an area and an areola, okay?
Oh, well, riddle me that then, Josh. Okay, so it's 26.5 acres of campus.
Yeah, they measure by acreage, not by square feet, because the place is fucking massive.
That's what we're working with. It's also 4 stories.
Yeah, of craziness.
And we go all 4 stories through our tour, and all these different rooms. There are some that are restored, and then there's others to kind of show us the decaying that's going on.
Yeah, when you arrive, you can't pre-book your ticket, so you have to sign up for your tour. It's first come, first served. There was actually some tours that we wanted. We wanted the daytime paranormal tour, but of course it was sold out already by the time we got there. We were a little disappointed at first, but then they told us about this thing called the Gothic Tour, and it's actually a VIP tour. And it goes to areas that the paranormal one goes to and beyond. Like, he talked to us about the architecture, about the architecture, which is done in the Georgian style. Lots of rocks. The foundation is sitting up. You know, that's just some of the elements of a Georgian style. I'm an architecture major. I know everything about the styles. There's like Rococo and Baroque, and you know, if it's not Baroque, don't fix it. But yeah, we took the Gothic tour. Mm-hmm. Covered all kinds of cool shit.
History, architecture, paranormal, restoration, all of that, and a bag of chips.
Yeah, when we got there, we actually had some time to spare before our tour, so we hit up some local winery called Lambert's Winery, and we got, filled ourselves up with some liquid courage before the tour.
To take on all those ghosts.
And we paid for a 90-minute tour, but it ended up being over 2 hours. We walked all around that place, and we're getting spooked the whole time. We did have one paranormal experience kind of right off the bat. And it was like a legit experience, too. We were wandering in the back of the line, and he's talking. We're going through a restored area. Justine, what were you doing during this time?
I was busy taking pictures, wandering around. We all kind of were hanging back, making sure that, they weren't keeping too close an eye on us. But you 3 were off doing your own thing, and you guys...
Yeah, we were standing there just listening to him talk. Justine had stepped to the side to take a picture. All of a sudden, the 3 of us hear... like this loud guttural scream, and we were just like, what? We immediately all 3 looked at each other and were like, did you hear that? What the fuck was that? Justine wandered back over. I was like, what's wrong with you guys? And
like,
we
they
told her.
Scared.
And then our tour guide, everyone kind of noticed us in the back talking, and he's like, hey, what's going on? And we were like, did you guys just hear that scream? We heard a man just scream. And they're all like, no, we didn't hear it. But then the tour guide said, it's usually the people in the back that have the experiences. And we were in the back, and I took a picture. We'll put it up in our Instagram at some point. You can go back and take a look of the corridor where we heard it, and there was no one there. There were no men standing over there. If someone on the other side of this large door had done that scream, they would have been surrounded by people, and people would have heard it.
And then, like, why is he acting like that?
Why is this guy screaming like he's being murdered? So, and it's also I can't pinpoint who the scream might have been. You know, I had a paranormal investigator friend on Instagram tell me, like, well, do some research, find out what man died in that center. And I'm like, through the tour, lots of people have died in the center.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Every floor that we were on, and in a lot of the rooms that weren't going to be restored, the ones that they are kind of leaving there to just, I'm not quite sure, not really like to rot, but kind of give you the effect of like, this is what it used to look like and this is now what we're doing. But people dying everywhere, in the bathrooms, in their rooms, hanging, stabbing.
there are lots of murders, lots of suicides, accidents, tragedies, fires, all kinds of things that are ripe for this to happen, for paranormal existence to take place. People were unsettled and unhappy when they died.
There was a lot of electroshock therapy done at
Lobotomies. They had a picture of a lobotomy. Didn't look cute, guys. It was like these two prongs going through like the eye sockets. Not punching the eyes, but going to the brain through the eyes.
Somehow wiggling their way in, and then giving a little mix, and then coming back out.
The chills.
Yeah, he even talked about how with those lobotomies there at the hospital, the doctors, they weren't necessarily like surgeons. They were like general practitioners that were just doing lobotomies.
They would learn it from like other people. Be like, oh, I've heard about this one doctor. He showed me how to do one. So now it's practice here.
Let's do it here. And that they were getting so, quote, good at it, because of course, you know, there's still a lot of people that died because of that, that they were doing them with a lot of effectiveness. Within 3 minutes, they were done. In and out, in and out, in and out.
Just snipping that part of your brain, making you a zombie, basically.
Yeah, you went in a person and came out less than a person.
Yeah, poor people. But it was really an experience. Like we said, we had experiences. We covered so much ground of the asylum. I would love to go back one day and they have like nighttime tours where you can get locked in, or they do flashlight tours where you just walk around with a guide for several hours in the middle of the night with your flashlight. Just from being there and having experience within the first 15-20 minutes, I'm kind of convinced that place is haunted, for sure. Because I can't explain that scream.
It's got a breadth of history with it. It opened during the Civil War and was even there to aid in a camp.
Yeah, what year did it
soldiers.
open, Justine?
It took its first patients in October of 1864.
Wow.
And then the doors weren't closed until the 90s. So
was it being built earlier? For some reason, I thought it was built.
It was being built earlier, and they were using rocks. That's also the largest hand-cut stone. Limestone
building.
Or whatever in like all the U.S. It's the second largest in the entire world.
And not just limestone, just hand-cut stone building.
Right.
Yeah.
And but they got it from the local quarry in West Virginia, and so but it took quite a while to build that. And even once they had the structures up, there was still a lot of the buildings still being built, even when patients were admitted.
Yeah, if you get a chance and you're in West Virginia and you're into the paranormal, you're just into like, having a fun kick, getting that adrenaline running, check out the Trans-Allegany Lunatic Asylum. There are a lot of tours. You can just go take a history tour if you're just interested in the historical aspect of the place.
It is considered a National Historic Landmark in 1990, so it's legit. Like it's some war tours go through there. It's awesome.
And like we said earlier in the show, it's been covered on countless shows. It's even been on the podcast Lore, on recently the Portals to Hell with Jack Osborne, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. And it has the word ghost in the title of the television program. It's probably been on there.
Discovery Channel. I was looking, I think, on like a Wikipedia to see what kind of places referenced it, and so it's everywhere. If it's everywhere, it's anywhere. Go online, get yourself. Well, can't go online and get yourself a ticket. That was the whole point of our frustration in getting the Gothic tour, was you couldn't call ahead, you couldn't order tickets online, you had to get there, and then also the person that was supposed to give the paranormal tour didn't show up, so they had to postpone the one that they were going to give. But guess what? Greg knocked it out of the park. He was our tour guide. One of a kind.
And most of his stories were all like first account or accounts from friends that have experienced things there. even though it was the Gothic tour, it was almost, I would say, like 85% paranormal.
He shared a lot of
A lot
paranormal
of ghost
experiences.
stories walking through there.
I really appreciated it a lot. And he even at the beginning said, like, I never do 90-minute tours. It's going to go over. Hope you guys aren't signed up for something else.
Yeah, I hope you're not in a hurry.
But did I think it was going to go 45 minutes over? No, but did I love it and appreciate it? Yeah!
Especially after the drive from where we were in Virginia, it was over 3 hours to get there. Now we're heading back, so it was definitely worth it. You guys should check it out.
Check it
and
out.
it made a good companion trip to House on Haunted Hill.
Yeah, so let's
1999's House on Haunted Hill.
let's lobotomize ourselves back.
Yeah, like Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
In House on Haunted Hill.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, let's go ahead and get back into it. Josh, what were your fave scenes from House on Haunted Hill?
Oh gosh, I guess I'm gonna go with, I kind of mentioned it earlier, I think it's maybe the scariest moment in the movie is when the Bridget Wilson character is
yes.
kind of walking off on her own, just videotaping, and I think she had already ran into these like skeletons with the meat on their bones, is what I'll call them, like
Yes.
skinned people, and apparently those were real that used in the movie. I forgot the story of how they got them, but those are real, like, people.
Yeah, lent from maybe
some
a
museum
medical
or
museum.
something. But
Oh goodness.
I really like the scene. I think it has the creepiest moment where she's looking at her camera. When she's looking at her camera, she sees Jeffrey Combs and the medical staff like torturing somebody in some procedure, and then she looks up, they're not there. She looks back in the camera, they're there. Looks up, not there. Looks in the camera, and they slowly all just look up at her.
And you know, like, oh honey, you are done.
You
so
are dead. You made yourself known. They're gonna want to kill you, girl.
And they do. And that's the thing, when Eddie and Sarah show up and Sarah like screams down the hall to Mr. Price. You know, she's like, we're not quite sure what happened to her. It's like, honey, there is
There's blood everywhere.
copious amount of blood just there on the walls. It's dripping. We know what happened. Girl, she dead.
Just watch that tape.
She dead. She
You'll
gone.
figure out she's dead. She's a gone girl.
I'm sorry. She's a gone girl.
She's a gone girl.
Sorry, girl. You gone.
Girl gone.
Okay. All right. Well, my fave scene is actually going to be a little later. It's after Sarah shoots Mr. Price. I love the reveal that he's alive, and this huge fight scene that happens between Famke Jensen and himself, or Evelyn, his wife, and him. I think it's hilarious. It's when he like reveals himself. He opens up his shirt. He's got his vest on, and in my head I'm like, what the fuck? He knew that like she was gonna shoot him 6 times, or you know, he just at least took it as like, if somebody shoots me, it's gonna be in the chest, they're not gonna shoot me in the head. But Evelyn's down there, and she's all giving her little monologue about how like, guess what, I never loved you, I loved your money. And then he's all like, oh, you did? Boom. And they just have this show off, and then she ends up being overtaken by the darkness. I like it. It's
Overtaken
fun.
by the darkness. Sounds like a metal song, you know.
Overtaken by the darkness. Darkness over. It was so bad. It was so good. Like, okay, guys, so we don't know how to do that. Okay. Yeah, so I think that's a really fun scene.
Oh, you know what other scene can't go unmentioned in our favorite scenes?
Let's do it.
Lisa Loeb getting scared in an elevator.
Yes, I wanted to choose that one, but then I was like, oh, that's just the very opening of it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
I mean,
it is a fun scene.
She gets scared.
Yeah, I mean, he says it when he's choking Evelyn. He's like, I am Stephen Price.
I'm a trickster
I'm the
master.
I'm the master.
No, any excuse to see some Lisa Loeb.
Yeah. You stay.
Okay. Well, anyway. So knife ratings, Justine.
Knife ratings. Okay, knife ratings for House on Haunted
I'll go first.
Hill.
I'm gonna go 2.5.
Oh, well, I'm right there with you.
I mean, it has its moments. It's fun to watch every once in a while. Every 10 years, give it a go.
Yeah.
I bought the Scream Factory disc just for nostalgic reasons. I saw this one in the theater back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been a favorite. Even back then, it wasn't a favorite. It relies too much on its like music video and like a bad late 90s music video.
Totally agree.
Energy to like get you through the movie.
There's even a total scene where the music is just like playing and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, did I see this on TRL? Like,
it's also just like when you compare it to the original William Castle. The
yeah.
original William Castle is just so much fun, especially if you're even going to compare a scene. The intros in the original are so funny. Oh, for some reason we have music going off.
You got a little,
Hello.
I got a little something going on. Your alarm is going
Ding
on.
dong, ding ding. But to compare two scenes, you know, the intros in the original are so funny, and Vincent Price's narration is so uncanny and amusing when he's introducing all the characters. Like, this is Sarah, and she has been struggling her whole, you know, or whatever.
Yes.
Compared to like the intro of the characters in this one, which just kind of falls flat. And for the most part, I feel like this movie falls a little flat.
All the time.
Has some cool shit. Like, I like the weird kaleidoscope ink blot pen dark monster at the end and a few things, but it's kind of a mess.
Totally agree.
Allie Larder can't save this one, guys.
She really
or
can't.
Or Famke.
Nope, not at all. I couldn't agree
or
more.
Or Peter Gallagher. Or Lisa Loeb. Or Jeffrey Rush. None of them could save it.
No.
Jeffrey Rush tries, though. He really does.
Yeah, he does. Well, like I said, I agree, and I'm going to give the same 2.5, and I guess I'll just line up with you and everything you said. Like, it tries a little too hard to be okay.
And to be edgy, maybe.
And I have it on DVD, so I've seen it quite a bit now. We've had to watch it so much just to get down all these beats, and and then after watching the original, it's just nothing really beats Vincent Price, and nothing really beats William Castle, and I get that, you know, Bill Malone was really like heavily influenced by it, and he wanted to give some good homage to it, but it just falls way through the cracks.
It belongs in that just weird era of horror movies, the late 90s, early 2000s, where it's like we were just starting to maybe get out of the teen slashers, but we're still trying to figure out what the fuck to do. You know, they're still putting in teen stars like Allie Larder and the Bridget Wilson girl, and even Tate Diggs, you know, but the movie just doesn't gel like maybe it should.
Yeah. We were really starting to like ghosts in the late 90s and early aughts.
And then there was like a weird ghost period, and then like your Japanese-inspired ghost movies that were being remade in America. Like there was definitely a whole. Then you had 13 Ghosts, also from, was it Dark Tower Entertainment?
Castle something.
Dark Castle.
Dark Castle. Yeah. Yes.
So there was kind of like a whole vibe of horror movies with that kind of feel to them. Just wasn't my favorite, not my favorite like subgenre of horror. Late 90s, early 2000 ghost movie.
Well, there you go. Josh and I are giving it 2.5, and now let's go ahead and move on. What's up next?
Oh my gosh.
Soul Survivor.
Episode 44, we're going to be taking ourselves back, seeing if we're going to be infected at the Muskogee zombie run, and we're going to cover Fulci's Zombie.
Yeah, it's September, so we'll be going to the Zombie 5K.
Yep, September is for a zombie episode. We'll be doing that 5K. So
I'm really excited to do it, and we'll see if we could do more obstacles.
It'll be our 3rd year. Maybe we won't get infected this time. We'll find out soon, guys.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're seeing a really bad wreck in progress, guys.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go. Follow us on Scream Queens podcast and Instagram and all that. And we love you guys. Love your support. So give us a shout out. We like to get in touch. Peace be with ya.
Bye.